Ross says, any Celtic fan still backing this manager is living in cloud cuckoo land. He has to go tonight, doesn't matter at what cost. Marzuno says, anyone that claims the MLS is a decent level hasn't watched any of it. He's played at a walking pace. Nancy is out of his depth and he talks nonsense. Sorry. Davey says, Paul Tisdale just signed the Celtic version of Russell Martin. At this rate, will be gone by Christmas and Hearts will be out of sight. Francis says he turned a team that was in a 7-8 game winning run to absolute shambles. This is nothing but a disgrace by the board. Heads must roll. Lol, Nicholson, Tisdale out. And Craigie isn't home back. Says if Nancy isn't sacked tomorrow, I refuse to go back to Parkhead till he's gone. The season ticket will be thrown out. John simply says someone sacked the board. Someone needs to be accountable. And just to round it up, James very simply says, I hope Martin O'Neill hasn't made Christmas plans.
Yeah, Home Alone 2. Do you know what? I do wonder what was going through Martin O'Neill's head today, sitting somewhere watching that cup final, knowing that he'd done, he'd been a major contributor to the fact that Celtic got to the final. It was all set up, wasn't it? That sometimes in football you get these things and it feels like the storyline is written, and that storyline felt written. I remember Euro '96. Was it Ali McCoy's to just come off the bench against England at Wembley and we get the penalty? And you think, there's McCoy, he's just fallen into this headline of the year award. This story's written for him. Of course, he didn't take the penalty. Gary McAllister did. Rest is history. That felt very much like a moment for Martin O'Neill. After he got Celtic to this cup final, you just felt that it was almost written. What an opportunity for the guy to come back after 20 years and put another trophy in the cabinet. It just felt as if that was what should happen. It was fated to happen. But Celtic ripped that one up as well. So, staggering.
This is what I'm saying, but this is like, even their good decisions are becoming bad ones. I mean, it's like, so, I know, listen, people slag me off about the Rodgers thing, but I mean, I thought it was ridiculous when chasing him at the door. But to go from that and say, okay, appointing Martin O'Neill was a good decision, but then even that's been handled badly. Do you know what I mean? It's like by letting it went on too long, and then when it went on too long, it was the wrong thing to do, the wrong time to let it go. But not only that, I think they've lost Sean Maloney and Mark Fotheringham, who I know had made a really good impression on the squad.
Yeah.
And listen, and people were oversimplifying the work that Martin O'Neill did, saying, he's back to basics, he's just been direct and all that stuff. Nonsense, right? Because these two guys behind the scenes are really modern coaches who work with the best players in Europe. Sean Maloney worked with Kevin De Bruyne recently, telling him where to play. Yeah. So these guys are smart, modern thinking coaches. This wasn't like Big Sam trying to beat the relegation. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like that. They were smart guys, and I think it'd be well received amongst the squad. So they lost that as well. So it wasn't just Martin's obviously the figurehead of this who had kind of helped lighten the mood. Whether or not Martin O'Neill was a long-term solution for the job, I don't know. Because I mean, he said to some of us guys privately and publicly as well that the scheduling, the amount of games, they're coming thick and fast. If a guy at 73, it
was a lot.
It might be a bit. I remember being in Denmark and he said he was shat at that point. It's a bit much. So that felt short term, but maybe the other two might not have been short term. But like I say, I don't have a problem with the Nancy appointment at the right time, but this is not the right time. And they've paid a hell of a price for it. I mean, this week has been fairly catastrophic for Celtic, and it's put this new manager in a position where he's right up against it now. I mean, he's lost. He's not so much won over the support. He's lost them already. I said a board that was already under fire is now getting flamed left, right, and centre. And against this backdrop, they've got to try and salvage the season. I don't know if it's possible at this stage.
Well, the Celtic supporters not kind of rally round Wilfried Nancy. I think the Celtic supporters will, obviously the goodwill's there. They obviously want him to succeed. Will they not rally round him a little bit and understand this has just been a really chaotic start and he's been shoehorned, wedged right into the thick end?
To an extent, I think he might escape the real vitriol. But in terms of watching a team looking a wee bit shambolic on the pitch, that's not going to cut it.
No.
Really. I mean, and listen, for all we're talking about Celtic and injuries and all that stuff and gaps in their squad, the team out there today, I mean, is still worth 10 times the St Mirren squad.
Yeah.
Still worth 5 times the Hearts squad.
Yeah.
In Roma, you take that to the side, it's separate. So you can't tell me Celtic have got a squad that can beat St Mirren on any given day. I mean, you can't tell me. I mean, Harley Hengels is 11 million quid. I mean, Iniacho is played at the highest level in England and Europe. I mean, there's guys all over the park, big money signings. Trusty, 6 million quid. Janecki, 5 million quid. Guy Balak on the bench, 5 million quid.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that's spent a lot of money spent on it, and they should have man-for-man players that can beat St Mirren. So the manager can't escape criticism for that, because he's not beat but get thumped.
And you could have driven a horse and carriage through his team the way it was set up today, the same as it was against Roma, the same as it was against Hearts. So yeah, I get it, Mike. There is reason for the Celtic fans to be pretty highly alarmed by what they've seen so far.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, going back to the Martin O'Neill, we said we'll one square peg in a round hole, but the rest of the guys, man for man, I know that guy is in theory better than the guy you're playing against. And at the end of the day, usually that'll help you get the victories. Whereas currently this setup isn't going to work, because it's wide open, and good coaches and managers will pick holes in it, as they have done this week.
I'd go as far as to say, Mick, if Lindelof doesn't miss, he's poked one wide to the near post from 5 yards, about 15 minutes into the first half. If he scores that and St Mirren went 2-0 up, that could have been even worse for Celtic than it was today. Because at that point,
I'm not sure it does get much worse. I think 3-1 getting cuffed 3-1 in the final is pretty bad anyway, Keith, isn't it?
But you can feel the game completely getting away from
nonsense. By half time.
Yeah.
You didn't get a chance before half time as well, put on the bar, even at one each. It's like, it's going to be. I mean, Celtic, by the way, and I keep saying it, we'll get Dun United midweek, Aberdeen, Motherwell coming up, Rangers coming up. It's not going to get any easier.
But just before we let you go, Mick, what is your gut feeling in regards to Nancy? Do you think he will turn this around? I mean, people already calling for him to be sacked in the comments, and I know social media is far from the be-all, end-all, but what's your thoughts?
Listen, I've tried to be kind of a slight voice of reason, right? But I mean, today was actually quite shocking how disorganised Celtic were, and to go not once but twice but 3 times trying this and failing 3 times, you think, I mean, this alarm bells are going off all over the place.